In this world, fully enlightened Buddhas praise listening to the Dhamma. And you can be very happy about your decision that you have taken to continue your wholesome practice with diligence. You have taken a very good decision to use your human life in the most beneficial way. Supreme Buddha very clearly saw how we suffered in various kinds of hells, experiencing racking, piercing, painful feelings. For sure, we have suffered a lot in hells that are colder than this cold. We shouldn't postpone listening to the Dhamma, practicing meritorious deeds, thinking, now it is too cold, now it is too hot, because we have suffered in hells that are hotter than this human world. That suffering, that pain is beyond words. So, if we try to understand the danger of this samsara and how we have missed many opportunities to listen to the Dhamma in our previous lives, how we died incalculable times losing the opportunity to listen to the Dhamma, it is very good that you thought to continue your Dhamma practice in this way. So, suddenly I remembered a sutta which was preached by the Supreme Buddha in order to encourage the Blessed One's disciples one time. So I decided to teach that sutta first, because all of us here are following the path of the Supreme Buddha as disciples of the Buddha. So even today we have that accurate guidance of the Supreme Buddha. And we can understand the proper way to see the true nature of this life. On one occasion, a group of monks were sitting near the Buddha, looking at the face of the Enlightened One. The most compassionate teacher addressed his disciples thus, explaining a story. from the past. Because in the past, there was a teacher named Araka, the founder of a spiritual sect. There was another religious teacher in the past. He wasn't a Buddha, but he taught about wholesome things to the disciples. According to his knowledge. That teacher was without lust for sensual pleasures. That teacher has developed meditation, maybe loving kindness meditation, because there are ascetics and other religious teachers even when there is not a Buddha in the world, and they practice other meditations such as serene meditations. So he could subside or weaken desire for sensual pleasures. He had developed jhanas. The teacher Araka had many hundreds of disciples. He had many hundreds of disciples, to whom this teacher Araka taught such a Dhamma as this. So he addressed the disciples saying, Brahmins, short is the life of human beings, limited and fleeting. It has much suffering, much misery. How did he teach the Dhamma? Short is the life of human beings, limited and fleeting. Is it with much happiness? No, it has much suffering, much misery. Aging, sickness, and death. So I remember this sutta because we don't have time to waste or to postpone. Today weather is not good, let me stay at home, right? Do we have time like that? No, because our human life is also very short. When we die, we will lose all these opportunities in the human world that we have here, association of Kalyana Mittas in the human world, listening to Dhamma in the human world, and doing all these meritorious things. These things will end very soon. So should we waste time? No. This is a very precious human life. We should make the maximum benefit of this Dhamma, practicing in line with the teaching of the Buddha. It is okay to give up little happiness, looking for higher happiness in the future. It is okay to experience discomfort and suffering to some extent, sacrificing happiness in the ordinary life. You could have slept in your home, right? You could have done something else. Because you don't want to suffer like this. Roads are not safe and like that. But this Dhamma helps the disciples to achieve true happiness in the future. Expecting that true happiness, it is okay to sacrifice our ordinary comforts and ordinary happiness. It is okay to suffer a little in the name of the Dhamma. That's how disciples should contemplate this rare opportunity. So this Araka teacher taught such a Dhamma. One should wisely understand this. He taught further, one should wisely understand that this life of human beings is very short. One should do what is wholesome and lead the spiritual life. One should be very diligent. One should give priority to do wholesome things. For none who are born can escape death. Is it true? For none who are born can escape death. Is it true? Have we escaped from death? Will we escape from death? No. This teacher taught nobody escapes from death. So we have to work hard, be diligent, don't postpone meritorious deeds. Like that, he encouraged his disciples. And he emphasized giving very powerful similes. He taught his disciples, try to understand this. Just as a drop of dewdrop, on the tip of a blade of grass will quickly vanish at sunrise and will not last long. Do you understand? When there is a drop of water at the end of a tip of grass, it will vanish soon, right? When sun rises. So to Brahmins, human life is like a drop of dew. It is limited and fleeting. It has much suffering, much misery. Disassociation or separation from loved ones, loved things, separation from our dear parents, brothers, sisters, relatives, friends. Will that happen one day? Yeah, much suffering. Life has much suffering, much misery. One should wisely understand this. One should wisely understand this. So, one should be wise enough to understand this true nature of life, fearing these future dangers. One should develop wisdom not to fall into these dangers again and again. One should do what is wholesome and lead the spiritual life. For none who are born can escape death. Okay, who taught this Dhamma? Was he a Buddha? No. He was another religious teacher. Okay, do you remember the first simile about the short life? What is this simile? Yes, second one. Just as when thick drops of rain are pouring down, okay, when it rains, a water bubble on the ground, water bubbles are there. A water bubble will quickly vanish and will not last long. Have you seen how water bubbles rise and disappear? So too, Brahmins, human life is like a water bubble. It is limited and fleeting. It has much suffering, much misery. One should wisely understand this. If you are not wise, you wouldn't understand this. You would think, oh, I am going to live for very long. I have to do a lot of things. We will plan for the future. Right? Why? What is the reason? Because of not using wisdom. It is the truth. It is the nature of this world. But if we don't use our wisdom, we will get stuck.